Hello, Meadowview artists. Today I would like to introduce to you the Paint Center. We will begin the year using a paint supply called Tempera cakes. They get their name because they look like small round cakes placed inside a plastic container. Our Paint Center will be located on the large table near the teacher desk and across from this set of sinks. You will need to access your own paint materials in order to work. In the lower cabinet, we will be storing the Tempera cake trays, and on the left side is a cardboard box that has paper for you to paint on. So take one of each of those, bring them to your workstation. You will need a paintbrush located in the cabinet above. You'll notice that there's an assortment of paintbrushes in the cupboard here. Paintbrushes are designed for different types of paint. The best paintbrush to use with the Tempera cakes are the ones found here in this yogurt cup. They have a black handle and the brush tip is brown. These are called camel hair brushes. They come in an assortment of sizes. This one's about a medium size, and if you look around in the container, you'll find some that are a little thinner or a little thicker. So you can select the right brush for the job. It's entirely possible that your painting will require more than one paintbrush. For example, a large brush for large areas or a small brush for small areas. You will also need a water bowl that you can grab right here from the sink. We're going to be recycling these yogurt cups and using them as a water bowl. So fill at the sink and bring over to your workspace. So if you've gathered all your materials, your workspace should look a little bit like this. Your very first step will be to include your name and class code on your paper. And then you need to flip that paper over so that your artwork, or the paint rather, doesn't hide your name and class code. You want your teacher to be able to clearly see that so the artwork can be returned to you later. Tempera cakes work two ways. You can draw a sketch first and then fill in with paint, or you can jump right in with paint. Artists prefer to work with either strategy, so you might explore which one will work best for you. I do recommend that you draw lightly with a pencil because Tempera cake is not solid. In other words, it does not do a very good job of hiding unwanted pencil marks on your picture. So to use this paint, you will dip your brush in the water to get it wet, and then you're actually going to wake up the paint by getting a little bit of cold water on the surface. And you can just tickle the paint or rub your paintbrush on top of the paint until you activate it. You'll know because your paintbrush will visibly have color on the bristles. Then you'll take your paint to the paper and you can either fill in your artwork or you can jump right in and add color to your paper. As you're painting, notice that you need to use the brush in a motion where you are pulling the bristles, whether they get pulled down or they pull to the side. You will never use the brush by pushing it. When you do that, you'll notice that the bristles get out of place. This is called a bad hair day. Eventually it will ruin the brush, but more importantly, it will damage your artwork. It's really difficult to paint clean edges and smooth lines when your brush is having a bad hair day. So a quick remedy to this is just to simply get the brush wet again. When switching colors, rinse your brush in the water, and then you can go to another color. This kind of paint is mixable. In other words, you can make new colors right there on your paper, so long as you're putting wet paint on top of wet paint. like I'm doing here. When I'm washing my brush, if I need to tap off extra water, there will be a sponge at the table. For this video, I forgot to purchase the containers. So the sponges will actually be like in a container so that you can tell they are sponges for excess water instead of cleaning sponges. You'll just tap your brush and then you can come back over to the tray to grab any color that you might need to complete your painting. And you can explore making thick or thin lines, filling in solid areas, and so on. For purposes of this demonstration, I made a really basic design. I would like you to challenge yourself to think a little more deeply about what messages you want to communicate through your artwork and share ideas that have personal meaning to you. When it's time for cleanup, you need to get your artwork over to the drying rack, which will be located to the left of the sink. Please check the card with your class code on it and make sure that your artwork is sorted on the correct side of the drying rack. That's the side that's showing your class code. This way it can be easily returned to you. You will return to your work spot. The paint trays, we're actually going to leave here on the counter so that they can air dry. Don't put them back in the cupboard. I will take care of that at the end of the school day after the colors have had time to dry. Then you'll bring your paintbrush and water bowl over to the sink area. So students will just drop their paintbrushes into the dirty brush bin, empty your water bowl, and flip it upside down. That's going to help make sure that our cleanup takes 5 minutes or less. In between classes, I'll take care of washing the paintbrushes and rinsing out the paint bowls if there's a little bit of paint residue on the inside. Thanks for watching our painting video on how to set up and clean up with Tempera cakes. I hope you enjoy painting today.